in a few minutes. I'm picking that Paul Hutton is the other one that's coming on the joint link today. PH, you with us?
Hi, Paul. Hi, Geoff. How you going?
G'day, PH.
Hey, mate. Nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
PH, I did a mentorship event earlier on today with Ainslie and Julian, and someone asked me if we could do a little bit of analysis on the pound and the cable. Are either of those in your session for today?
I do have. I am looking at the euro pound today.
I'm looking at the pair.
Yes.
Look, when you're done, and we might have a chat about euro as a group here. So if you can do your analysis, we might have a chat with the team about their thoughts on either euro or pound. We might do a bit of analysis on one of those at the end as well.
Sure
I
thing.
did tell the guy earlier on that we would cover it, the guy or the girl, I don't remember.
Yep.
But I'd like to cover it. Mate, if you're ready to go, I'm going to hand over to you, jump off camera. I'm going to make some people hosts and co-hosts for later in the show. I'm going to check into YouTube and Facebook and welcome everybody and answer any questions you guys have got there. Mate, it's interesting week last week for mine. If the world is following US equities, they look soft to me, PH. First time in a while.
Oh, well, we've been waiting. We've been talking about this for a long time, right? And finally, we're starting to see some profit taking in some of these, at least some of the indices starting to come down. Yeah, and oil's had a bit of a response to that as well. But those are not the first two charts that I'm going to look at today. Definitely keen to come back to that conversation in a while. Go on.
I did a roundup of stuff when we started. I talked about Bitcoin, NASDAQ, S&P, Euro, Yen, and gold. I didn't talk about oil, which reclosed that old gap. It had another pop out, which was interesting for mine. So maybe when Ping Nee joins us later on, he might take us through the gold stuff in a bit more.
Yeah. Yes,
right,
for sure. Sure thing. I'm just about to take over the screen. Looks like I've got the superpowers already, and you should be able to see my screen now. I've just got another window I'm going to close up here. You can see, all right?
Can see your screen, mate. You're all good to go.
So look, I've got two currency pairs that are the most interesting to me chart wise, and they're both crosses. The first one is New Zealand Swiss. Now, New Zealand dollar, I'm always watching the Aussie versus the Kiwi, and New Zealand dollar has been doing well relatively against the Aussie. So I would be favouring longs generally on the New Zealand dollar pairs if I can find them. And the best one for me right now is this New Zealand Swiss franc. Now, I'm looking at the weekly chart here, and what is interesting for me is, okay, so yes, we've been on the medium term, we've been in a downtrend for quite some time. We've popped back up here, and we've made a higher low here on the weekly chart. And we have also, last week, we had pretty much, it's not exactly a bullish engulfing, but at least from the body aspect, the body of last week's weekly candle did engulf the body of the week before. And, okay, we didn't get the highs and the lows engulfing each other, but this is a decisive move for me on the weekly chart. And we're also right at this trend line here. So this trend line, I've drawn it according to, I hope Geoff would, approve of me drawing the trend line in this way. I've got as many pip perfect touches as I could find, and there is one break of the trend line which I've allowed there. I've considered that to be a false break back in December 2019. So this trend line, I think, is itching to be broken again. It's been tested already twice in the last couple of weeks, and on the daily chart, I've got a couple of other things that I like. So one of the things that I like is just bringing this trend line down and drawing it on the daily chart. It's a slightly different trend line, but we've actually broken it once and we've broken it again. So I think this, if we come back and revisit this trend line here, the small blue one, I think that's a place where buyers are going to jump into this. The other thing that I really like about it is look at the 200-day moving average. Yes, it's flat, but we're above it, right? And whilst we're above the 200-day, generally, I'm looking for prices to go higher in this kind of situation. The third thing I like about this is And I'll just, actually I don't have pencils and whatever here. So, but I'll just indicate it for you with some trend lines. Check this out. Okay, so there is a cup. Yep. And here on a slightly smaller time frame, okay, less candles, meaning, all right, we've got a handle. So we've got a built-in higher low here on the Kiwi Swissy, and so what happens with the cup and handle pattern is it typically will break the rim of the cup, which you could probably draw there, or in fact we might have broken it already, and that rim of the cup then gets broken, and we go more or less the same distance as what you see as the depth of the cup as well. So just measuring that roughly, let's say 250 pips, that would take us up to, just a second, let's be conservative and say we broke it there, takes us up to the horizontal level and beyond, about maybe 263.70, 63.80. Okay, so that's a likely scenario that may unfold for the Kiwi Swissy. Just for me, looking at the potential resistance levels, okay, I've got support there at about 60.50. And I've got resistance at 62.25 or so. So that would be my first take profit level. And if I can get through that resistance level, which the recent bullish price action makes me feel that that's quite likely, then there might be a second take profit level at 63.25 or so. And as you can see on the weekly chart, there's a few touches on that level there. So that could become a decent resistance level, a scale out level for me. So that's the New Zealand Swiss. Second chart that I've got to look at here is the Euro Pound. So I'll just go ahead and present what I see on the Euro Pound, and then we can come back and people can ask some questions and make some comments on these. Here's the weekly chart for the Euro Pound. Look, it's been a great currency for me over the past few months. Managed to get some buying opportunities in here, and again we're looking at a weekly chart here, so the price action is quite compressed, but there was some nice winning trades there back in the second quarter of the year. Then it went into a bit of consolidation, and it's basically retraced as much as it could retrace, and it has benefited from all this nonsense that's been going on with the pound, benefited quite significantly, and it's made a higher high. I really like the fact that we're above the 90 level, which is a very important psychological level for this pair, and we're below the 92.64 level. So if I zoom out here, you can see this currency pair hasn't been above this level. 92.64. It hasn't been above this level since 2008. Yeah. And we've only got data that goes back to 1999, but that's a very, very important level for the Euro Pound. And it's tested this level now 1, 2, 3, false break. Let's call that a false break, 4, 5 times over the last maybe 4 years. And then we've just had another test of that level in the last couple of weeks. Yes, we've pulled back from it, but look at the daily chart here. Here's some nice things about the daily chart, right? Bounced off the 200-day moving average. So, and with momentum, I really like that push up. And of course, look, I got a chance to. I was looking for a spec long on here, around here, and I got it. And rode it up to 90 and then beyond. Didn't ride the whole thing, but unfortunately, it's impossible to pick the bottoms and the tops. But look where it's come back to. We've got a really important trend line break here, and we've retested the trend line. Now, will we take off immediately from here? My guess is that's not necessarily the case, but if we do consolidate between where we are now and maybe this level of around 90.60, My guess is that buying interest will come back into this, and we will come back and retest this level 92.64. If we can break 92.64, I don't know where it can go to. It's it's one of those things where if you break previous highs, and of course we've got this like spike at 95 something, but that would be the next logical level. But beyond 95, I don't know, we could end up going to parity on the euro pound. That's not something that is necessarily going to happen overnight. But again, all this nonsense with the pound and the Brexit saga, we've seen big moves in the pound over the last couple of years. So anything is possible, and I would like to be on the right side of this trade. That's a little bit of analysis on those two currency pairs for me, two that I'll be watching in the coming week. Any questions? Any thoughts?
PH, we're on multiple social media at the moment, so I'm just keeping an eye on the various chats to see if anything comes in as far as questions. Nothing at the moment on YouTube. Remember, guys, if you like the show, don't forget to like the show. And if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at the moment, that would be great. We're trying to get 1,000 YouTube subscribers, so the algorithm will be a little bit more friendly to us, which we think it should be, because we think we're friendly people and it should be friendly back.
Cool.
We are, mate, I'm just trying to jump in for some reason on one of the channels. I've just lost us. I don't really know why. But let me have a look on the others. Questions, looks okay.
I'm looking at Zoom. I'm watching the Zoom chats here, but I don't see anything.
Cheers, mate. Look, I have been working pretty hard on the social media, mate. So what were the two currencies we had a look at? We had a look at Euro Pound.
Yeah, Euro Pound and New Zealand Swiss.
Interesting,
New Zealand
mate.
Swiss. Yeah, a bit of a cup and handle going on there.
Yep.
And a trend line break already.
Yep.
So yes, look, the Kiwi could be in for a bit of a rough ride this week because of the RBNZ news. But I'm at least on Monday and Tuesday, I think it's gonna go higher from here.
Looking for the pop up. Nice, like it a lot. And you said EURGBP might get to parity.
You heard that, did you? Well, look, okay, back on the weekly chart. This is what I was pointing out, right? So look at the history of the euro pound. It has been as high as 98, right? Let's call that 98. The most recent high was 95, and it didn't stay there for long. It came all the way up and got a nosebleed, came all the way down very fast. But I think if this 92.64 level gets broken, that could be a key, sea change for euro pound. It hasn't really been above that level since 2016, and hasn't stayed above that level since 2008. So if the euro gets some legs on it, if the pound continues to be in the toilet, then breaking that level. Typically, when it breaks those levels, it doesn't just hang around; it goes. So that's what I'm hoping for on this.
Right, that'll be interesting. Let's which ones should we have a look at, mate? We'll ask the team if they want to join in. Which ones should we have a look at? Should we have a look at cable or euro?
Oh, you mean on the majors?
Let's have the team have a chat about one. Anyone that wants to join us? I know Geoff's in the room. You're in the room. Julian's in the room. Then we had someone in the earlier show, so we could talk about opportunities in euro and euro.
Okay.
I'm interested to.
Well, okay, this is the daily chart for the euro and the weekly chart for the euro. I've got to say this is about as exciting as watching paint dry at the moment. Let me open up the gold. The gold. Gold is pretty boring too. The pound chart. Yeah, a bit more action here, right? 200 saved us for a while, but Friday was a little bit bearish. I think, I think the pound is a more interesting chart here with some downside possibilities. We see a lower low. So is the end of the week's price action, is that a lower high? I think it's a little bit too early to call that a lower high. I'd like to see it maybe come back up and test around this level of about 131 or so, high 130s.
Interesting for mine, just having seen the charts for like a couple of seconds, right? I reckon on the daily chart, it doesn't look like it stopped here, but boy, on the weekly chart, it does. Can you pop us back over that weekly chart?
Yeah, sure. The weekly chart,
that is
Yeah,
the thing. That is at some level of resistance, right where it is right now. So,
true, true.
and I couldn't see it on the daily chart, but on the weekly chart, so that does interest me a little bit. So, again, for me right now, I'm at the stage where I just feel like Monday morning is a wait and see kind of thing. If we got a 4-hour bounce bar here, I'd be pretty interested in getting short. And if
Mm.
we got a 4-hour bar that was decisive, closed above the high of Friday, then I would think we've got a bit of space to go on the upside yet. So it's certainly, boy, it's
Well, we've got that. Okay, so there's a low test bar in there. It's not in the place where we normally expect low test bars to be, but
yeah,
I think if we break this little, these 3 wicks here at
yeah,
around about 130. See, 130 is a, hang on, let me just draw that level in, because that is a really important level on the pound. 130 is a psychological level. It's
yeah,
a round number. So yeah, if we got a daily close above that level, I would say long. Yep.
yeah.
And if we, let's say we come back up and test it again and we reject it, I think that would be a really good indication of downside.
Yeah, look, one of the things that Julian often talks about is when they've got it wrong. And the longs are wrong for mine below Friday's bar, maybe below Wednesday's bar, but for mine below Friday's bar. So I'll be interested. Julian, you got any view on cable?